The revelation. The Galactic Council's Grand Chamber fell silent as Captain Mira Hayes strode through the massive obsidian doors. Her footsteps echoed against polished floors that reflected the stars visible through the transparent dome ceiling. The Council representatives, over 300 species from across known space, watched with a mixture of curiosity and disdain as the human approached the central platform. Mira kept her expression neutral, though beneath her formal diplomatic uniform, her muscles remained tense. 15 years of military service hadn't prepared her for this moment. She carried humanity's last hope in the data chip concealed in her sleeve. "The Council recognizes the representative from Sol System," announced High Arbiter Genvex, a towering figure with crystalline features that caught the light from the chamber's floating illuminators. "State your purpose, human." Mira stood straight, her dark eyes moving across the gathered delegates. "I come with a message from the United Earth government." A ripple of murmurs spread through the chamber. Earth rarely sent representatives to full council sessions, usually relegated to petitioning through lower diplomatic channels. "The council's time is valuable," said Councillor Trelnar, his gelatinous form pulsing with bioluminescent irritation. "Your species has submitted 17 appeals for expanded colonization rights in the past cycle. All have been denied per the Colonial Development Accords." "I'm not here about the Accords," Mira replied, her voice carrying clearly through the vast chamber. "I'm here about your survival." The chamber erupted with indignant outcries. Several delegates rose from their seats, tentacles and appendages gesturing wildly. The High Arbiter raised a crystalline hand, and silence gradually returned. "Explain yourself, Captain Hayes," Genvex demanded, using her military title rather than her diplomatic one, a subtle insult not lost on Mira. She tapped her wrist device, and a holographic display materialized above the central platform. It showed a sleek vessel unlike any design the Council had seen before, matte black with pulsing blue veins running along its hull. "This is the UES Prometheus," Mira said, "the first of our ghost fleet. 26 vessels equipped with technology you've forbidden for the past 3 centuries. The silence that followed was deafening. Then chaos erupted as delegates shouted questions and accusations. "Impossible," cried a winged Avarian representative. "Dark matter manipulation is prohibited under the Cataclysm protocols." "The human is bluffing," hissed another delegate. Mira tapped her device again, and the hologram changed to show the Prometheus in action, reality bending around it as it moved through space, leaving a wake of distorted stars. "We're not bluffing," she said quietly, but somehow her voice cut through the noise. "For 50 years, we've adhered to your restrictions. We've watched our homeworld deteriorate while you've denied us access to habitable worlds. We've buried millions while you debated quota adjustments." High Arbiter Genvex leaned forward, crystalline features refracting light in patterns that indicated extreme agitation. "If what you show is genuine, your species has violated the most sacred covenant of galactic peace." "Peace?" Mira laughed bitterly. "Is that what you call condemning an entire species to slow extinction? Your peace has been humanity's death sentence." In the highest tier of the chamber, hidden behind a maintenance panel, Ilara Dawn watched with widening eyes. She wasn't supposed to be here, just a half-human technician assigned to environmental systems. But rumors of the human delegation had drawn her. Now she couldn't tear her eyes away from Captain Hayes and the impossible ships displayed in the hologram. "The Ghost Fleet is currently deployed throughout Council space," Mira continued, ignoring the gasps from the delegates. "They're undetectable by your sensor networks. They're already in position near your core worlds." "This is an act of war," roared Councillor Vrakthul, a massive reptilian whose scales flashed warning colors. "This is an act of survival," Mira countered. "Humanity has a simple request: immediate resettlement rights to the 7 worlds we've identified in the Arcturus sector." The High Arbiter's voice dropped to a dangerous tone. "And if we refuse this request?" Mira looked directly at Genvex, her face a mask of determination. "Then we use the Ghost Fleet to take what we need." The chamber erupted again, Threats, pleas, and outraged cries mingled into a cacophony that forced the Arbiter to call for order repeatedly. Ilara pressed closer to her hiding spot, heart racing. She had lived her entire life on council stations, the daughter of a human father who had died waiting for medical treatment that council bureaucracy had delayed for years. Her mother's people, the Lyrisi, barely acknowledged her existence. You have 24 hours to begin evacuation of your outposts in the Arcturus sector, Mira said when the noise subsided. After that, we move in. This isn't a negotiation. As Mira turned to leave, Ilara saw something in the captain's face that the delegates missed. Not triumph or aggression, but desperation. The same expression her father had worn in his final days. Captain Hayes called the High Arbiter, causing Mira to pause. The consequences of your actions today will fall not just on your leaders, but on every human in council space. Are you prepared for that responsibility? Mira didn't turn around. We've been dying under your protection for decades. At least now we'll die fighting. After she left, the council chamber dissolved into frantic discussions. Ilara slipped away through the maintenance tunnels, her mind racing. Everything she believed about the stability of the council, about humanity's place in the galactic order, it was all collapsing. She had to find Captain Hayes. She had to know the truth. Hours later, Ilara tracked Mira to the diplomatic docking bay. The captain was speaking in hushed tones with her security team when Ilara approached. Captain Hayes, she called, raising her hands when the security officers reached for their weapons. My name is Ilara Dawn. I need to speak with you. Mira studied her, noting the distinctive Lyrisi markings around her eyes that contrasted with her obviously human features. We're leaving in 10 minutes. Make it quick. Is it true? Ilara asked. About Earth. Something flickered in Mira's eyes. Which part? The extinction. Is humanity really dying? Mira hesitated, then motioned for Ilara to follow her away from the others. She pulled out a small device and showed Ilara images that made her stomach churn. Vast dead zones across Earth's continents, crowded medical facilities, children with oxygen masks. Atmospheric degradation accelerated 20 years ago. Mira explained quietly. Something in our planet's core is releasing compounds our scientists can't counteract. The Council has known for decades. Their solution was to limit our population through strict colony quotas. But the dark matter technology, Ilara began, was our last option. Mira finished. Do you think we wanted this? To become the villains of the galaxy? We just want to survive. A security officer approached. Captain, we've received word. Council defense forces are mobilizing. Mira nodded grimly. Sooner than expected. She turned back to Ilara. You should go. Things are about to get complicated for anyone with human blood. Ilara made a decision that would change her life forever. Take me with you. What? I've spent my life caught between worlds, never belonging to either. I want to help. Mira studied her. Why would you betray everything you know? Ilara thought of her father, of the Council's indifference to his suffering. Because I've seen how the Council treats those they consider expendable, and I'm tired of being expendable. Alarms began blaring throughout the station. Mira's team tensed, hands moving to weapons. Last chance to change your mind, Mira said. Ilara's answer was to step toward the ship. As they boarded, a transmission came through from the Ghost Fleet. The first Council vessels were moving to intercept. The Galactic Council had made their choice. War had begun. The reckoning. The command deck of the UES Prometheus thrummed with tension as Captain Mira Hayes studied the tactical display. 12 Council warships had formed a blockade around the jump point, their weapons charged and targeting systems active. Behind her, Ilara Dawn watched with a mixture of awe and terror as the crew prepared for the first true test of humanity's forbidden technology. All Ghost Fleet vessels report ready, Captain, announced Commander Reyes, his scared face illuminated by the blue glow of his console. Dark matter cores stable and cloaking systems at maximum efficiency. Mira nodded. Comms broadcast on all council channels. Let's see if they'll listen one last time. The communications officer opened the channel, and Mira spoke with calm authority. Council vessels, this is Captain Hayes of the UES Prometheus. We have no desire for bloodshed. Stand down and allow us passage to the Arcturus sector. The response came swiftly, the translator converting the Trelnar admiral's gelatinous speech patterns into harsh, clipped sentences. Human vessel, you have violated council law and threatened sovereign worlds. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Mira closed her eyes briefly. So be it. Ghost Fleet, execute Phantom Protocol. Around the Prometheus, space seemed to shiver as the dark matter drives engage. On the tactical display, the 6 human ships vanished from conventional sensors, becoming visible only to their linked systems. Ilara gasped as reality itself appeared to bend around them. They can't see us, she whispered. Not until we want them to, Mira replied. Weapons target their flagship's propulsion systems only. Minimum yield. The Prometheus moved with impossible speed, appearing suddenly beside the largest council vessel. A pulse of concentrated dark energy lanced out, striking with surgical precision. The council ship's engines flickered and died, leaving it drifting helplessly. Chaos erupted as the remaining council vessels fired blindly into space where they thought the human ships might be. But the Ghost Fleet was already elsewhere, disabling ship after ship without destroying any. Why aren't you destroying them? Ilara asked. You have the advantage. Mira's expression remained grim. Because this isn't about revenge. It's about forcing them to negotiate seriously for the first time. As the battle unfolded, Ilara's mind drifted back to her childhood on Council Station Epsilon. Her father had been an environmental engineer, trying desperately to adapt Council technology to help Earth's deteriorating atmosphere. She remembered his frustration as proposal after proposal was rejected, resources redirected to species the Council deemed more valuable. Her thoughts were interrupted as the tactical officer shouted a warning. Captain, multiple signatures approaching. Council reinforcements. Heavy carriers, at least 20 vessels. Mira cursed under her breath. They're responding faster than intelligence predicted. All ships regroup at coordinates Delta 9. As the Ghost Fleet disengage, one of the Council's experimental cruisers managed to lock onto the Prometheus with a gravitational tether, momentarily disrupting its cloaking field. Warning alarms blared as enemy weapons fire struck their starboard hull. Damage report. Mira called out. Hull breach on Deck 4, contained. Dark matter containment holding at 92%, reported the engineering officer. But we can't sustain another direct hit like that. Ilara watched Mira's face, seeing the weight of decision. The captain could order the fleet to retaliate with full force. The Council ships would be decimated. But that would cross a line humanity couldn't uncross. Instead, Mira made a different choice. Communications, open a direct channel to High Arbiter Zenvex. Priority override protocols. The crew exchanged glances. This wasn't part of the original plan. Moments later, the crystalline face of the High Arbiter appeared on the main view screen. Captain Hayes, have you come to surrender? I've come to show you something, Mira replied. She nodded to her science officer, who transmitted a massive data package directly to the Arbiter's private terminal. This is the complete environmental data from Earth for the past 50 years. Including the Council science team reports that your delegation buried. The Arbiter's crystalline features remained impassive, but Ilara noticed a subtle change in the light refraction patterns, surprise, perhaps even shame. You knew, Mira continued. Your scientists confirmed that Earth's core instability could be stabilized with technology you possess. Technology you denied us because it would make us too advanced too quickly. You sentenced millions to die because you feared our potential. Zenvex was silent for a long moment. The Council's decisions are made for the greater stability of the galactic community. Broadcast it, Mira suddenly ordered her communications officer. Send Earth's data to every Council species. Let them all see what their leadership has done in their name. You can it, began the Arbiter, but it was too late. Across Council space, the truth about Earth's condition spread like wildfire. The real-time feeds showed sprawling atmospheric processors struggling to keep the air breathable, vast refugee camps where the displaced waited for space on colony ships that never came, children born with lungs adapted to toxins. Ilara moved to stand beside Mira. Will it be enough? It has to be, Mira replied softly, because Plan B is to use the Ghost Fleet to take what we need by force. And that ends with a war nobody wins. Hours passed in tense standoff. The Ghost Fleet remained deployed, hidden but ready. The Council vessels maintained their positions but held their fire. Then, something unexpected happened. Ships began arriving. Not military vessels, but civilian craft from dozens of species. Medical ships, atmospheric processors, terraforming equipment. Leading them was a Lyrissi science vessel, its captain broadcasting on an open channel. "This is Chief Scientist Nera Cole of the Lyrissi Collective," announced a female voice that made Ilara's heart skip. "We have reviewed the Earth data. The Council leadership does not speak for all. We come to help." More messages flooded in. Avarians offering atmospheric technology, Trelnar biotechnicians volunteering stabilization compounds, even a group of renegade Council scientists bringing classified research. On the command deck, Mira watched in stunned silence. This wasn't the outcome she had prepared for, neither surrender nor war, but something entirely different. The High Arbiter's transmission cut through the others. "Captain Hayes, the full Council has convened an emergency session. We request your presence to discuss the Arcturus resettlement proposal and Earth restoration efforts." Ilara looked at Mira, seeing the careful hope dawning in her eyes. "Tell them I'll be there in 6 hours," Mira replied, "with my full delegation." After the transmission ended, Mira turned to Ilara. "I need someone who understands both sides, someone who can help build what comes next." Ilara thought of her father, who had died believing humanity had been forgotten by the galaxy. "I'll help however I can." As the Prometheus set course back to the Council station, Ilara gazed at the tactical display where the dots of civilian ships continued to multiply, species after species, defying their own governments to help. "Is this victory?" she asked quietly. Mira's expression was complex: relief, exhaustion, and cautious hope. "No. This is something better. This is the beginning of change." Behind them, the Ghost Fleet remained vigilant, a reminder of humanity's resolve. But ahead, something new was forming. An alliance built not on Council decrees, but on the choices of individuals from across the galaxy who refused to let an entire world die. The war hadn't come. Instead, something far more powerful had emerged from the shadow of those dark matter ships. Compassion that transcended species, and the first true hope Earth had known in decades.